Hey all, Jason Levon, priest at St. Luke's Episcopal Church in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Welcome to another edition of Pause and Pray. It seems as though through purely earthly accidents, we find ourselves becoming responsible for things heavenly and divine. Those words come from the great theologian Karl Rahner, and their wisdom rings true in my life. When I think of the times and experiences where I've encountered the holy in a profound way, it's almost always been in ways that have been so surprisingly unexpected, accidental, if you will, ways I never would have expected encountering the holy. Sometimes that's happened in beautiful and marvelous ways. More recently, it's happened through a painful sense of the accidents in life. Namely the death of my stepdaughter Vanessa in December of 2019 because of drug addiction. It's something I never would have chose of, to have to try to pick up some of the pieces of the aftermath of her death. It's something none of us who have surrounded Vanessa with love and support would have chosen. And yet here we all found ourselves in this accident, in a sense, completely unexpected, and having to all come together to care for two beautiful children that she leaves behind, a 6-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old son. And while I and many of us continue to live with the heartbreak of grief over Vanessa's loss, it's been beautiful to experience a holiness creeping into all of that. As I see so many who stood around Vanessa, finding ourselves drawn into this drama of redemptive love, unexpectedly and accidentally. I know I'm experiencing that personally, in the way in which the fire I feel to want to be an instrument of stability and love and support for those children, knowing all of the many hurdles they'll face in life as a result of their mother's death. And how beautiful it is to see other people around these children being so caught up in this drama of redemptive love in their lives, even though none of us would have anticipated it or expected it or even maybe chosen it if we could. The same can be said of Simon of Cyrene. We read about him in our gospel from today's daily office, chapter 27 of Matthew, where Simon too finds himself accidentally caught up in God's redemptive love, as he finds himself, quite honestly, at the wrong place and at the wrong time, at the edges of life, watching this condemned criminal named Jesus walk by, struggling to carry his cross. And Simon is conscripted into that work when Jesus couldn't carry it any longer. I can't think it was willing, that he entered into it willingly. I mean, no one wants to carry the cross of a condemned criminal in the face of a jeering crowd. I'd never say that was a fulfilling afternoon. Would there be guilt by association? Who knows? And yet that work that Simon was accidentally caught up in would be the most important work he would ever be about in his life. It's why the church continues to remember him and celebrate the gift that he is to this very day. And there's a gift in that, calling us all to pause and to pray about the many ways we find ourselves, just like Simon, caught up and accidentally so, it seems in many cases, in this redemptive drama of God's love in our midst. Maybe we're caught up in that, in the care we provide to an elderly relative or parent, and we do it mostly because we're the one who lives the closest to them. Or maybe we're the parent of a special needs child, asked to do things that most parents will never be asked to do. Or maybe we're the one at work to whom the emotionally needy coworker consistently reaches out to because they find in us a listening ear. Or maybe we're the one with the gentle and unassuming nature that makes it hard to say no, and because of that we get conscripted into all sorts of work. Sometimes people even try to take advantage of us because of our good nature. And maybe to stand in some holy awe in the midst of all of that, to recognize that just like Simon, it's so often when we're standing on the edges of life, unexpectedly, that we find ourselves caught up in this redemptive drama of God's love, and to celebrate the gift then, to know that from God's vantage point, there's nothing accidental about it. Just like Simon, we're all seen by God as worthy instruments to be caught up into that redemptive drama and to be instruments of that redemptive love for each other by helping one another carry our crosses. God's peace and blessings to you all.